management, organization, socialization, and employment. We do that through a couple of different ways. Sorry, Samantha, if you wouldn't mind muting yourself, it seems like there's some noise coming from your end. Chris, do you have the option to mute people?
I think I just did.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thanks. I know sometimes it's hard to figure out all the buttons. So like I said, our program is providing comprehensive support. Really, we do that through a couple of different ways. So students have an assigned case manager through our program that they meet with once a week for about an hour for really executive functioning support. We provide students with a peer mentor, another student at the university who's there to be a social connection. We do adaptive functioning skills classes, one in college success, which is things that are helpful to learn in your first year of college that no one ever teaches anyone, and then career readiness, which is really getting students to prepare for applying for jobs and internships. Moving into their junior, senior, and beyond years, we are really working with students to grow their employment skills and work towards gaining meaningful work experience. We have communication with students, professors. We are not necessarily providing academic support specifically, but support around academics, things more like deadlines, due dates, helping to keep track of assignments, things like that. We do a lot of socialization, so there's a lot of social opportunities built in, both small group game nights, things like that, and then large group events, some off campus, some on campus. Our goal is that students are participating in every aspect of campus that they would like to, and to the full extent that they wish. And that looks a little bit different for every student. We do have an option for students to live in a supported residence hall. So students are welcome to live anywhere on campus or commute from a family home, but we have a third option, which is our supported residence hall, which is a little bit unique about our program. It's a campus house that holds about 15 students in our program. We provide additional support, additional social programming, additional skill building. Students still need to have the basic, independent living skills, in the sense of we're not waking people up in the morning. There's not a full-time professional staff member living there. It is still part of residence life, but we're doing a lot of social skill building, some of those higher level independent living skills. So that's a little bit different about our program. We do have an application for the program, so students can apply to the university just as they would through the normal channels. And then we have an application for our program as well. We do meet with students and families individually. If you would like to learn more about our program, we offer family information sessions weekly. We also are at open houses and things like that. So I put our website in the chat, and I'll also put my email in there. Chris, you're usually good about sending that after the webinar as well. So feel free if you'd like to reach out to learn more. We're always happy to talk with prospective students and families. We have another program at St. Joe's. So I will turn it over to Dr. Johnson to talk a little bit more about the PACE program, which he can explain a little bit more about the differences.
Okay, Dr. Johnson, you're up. Thank you, Allie.
Allie, thank you so much. Aspire is a great program. Now, there is a difference between the two programs. Aspire is for those students who seek a degree, a bachelor's degree. Our program that I'm going to present on this evening is the PACE program, Pathways to Authentic College Experience. It's an inclusive college experience for students with intellectual disabilities. And we provide, for a 4-year program, we provide a certificate of integrated professional studies. So students who are in our program receive the certificate. Can you see my screen? Terrific, thank you.
Yes, we can.
PACE is one of 20 inclusive higher ed programs. Let me get in the state of Pennsylvania, and there are over 360 colleges nationwide. I'm sure many of you have gone on to the Think College website. If you haven't, you definitely want to do a Google search for Think College and look for programs that might meet your needs. We're proud that St. Joe's is one of the first Jesuit institutions in the country to establish an inclusive higher ed program, and we hope we can serve as a model for others. And everyone knows the value of a Jesuit education. So our focus on liberal arts, interdisciplinary studies, there are required courses, but students can also pick courses that they're interested in. And they can go across many different colleges: College of Arts and Sciences, College of Education, College of Business. And so students can, once they've completed their GEP, graduate or the general education program courses, they can pick courses that will interest them. And I'll give you some examples later on. In the senior year, students receive a capstone experience. And in that experience, they've been talking with the employment director all through their 4 years and are providing information on the kind of work and kind of career they want. And then in the spring of their senior year, they will be placed in a paid internship with the hope that that internship leads to a full-time job with a nice salary and benefits. We provide mentors, a tremendous amount of student support, and many other services. So what are the keys? Why would you want to join the PACE program? 100% of our college courses are inclusive. So every St. Joseph's University course that is available to all the students in the PACE program. Majority of our students do audit the courses, but we have had some students take the courses for credit and pass them. But there is work-based learning. Students begin employment in the spring of their freshman year, and we have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Our seniors have worked every semester since they've been there. Parents complete the FAFSA form, which gives students access to work study. Amazing to see the smiles on the faces of those first-time paychecks. And then we also have lots of support from peer coaches, over 50 peer coaches in the program. And those are other St. Joseph's University students who agree to be peer coaches in the academic area, social area, and employment area for students who are in the PACE program. And then for somebody who wants to live on campus, we have housing options. Eligibility: students must be diagnosed with an intellectual disability, be between the ages of 17 and 25, and must have exited or graduated high school at the time of enrollment. So this is really key, I think, for many programs. What kind of skills are needed really to succeed in a program like PACE? You need to be able to use your cell phone, text and call, send and read emails. Professors are often sending messages about classes canceled, bring some extra material. So that's key. Need to be able to follow a calendar. If you're not doing that now, set up a Google Calendar or some other calendar and begin following it. Put your appointments in there. If you're living on campus, we expect self-care and independent living skills, getting dressed, cooking, and then asking for help if needed, knowing kind of where it is. Travel, being able to follow GPS for getting around campus. Our staff goes with students for the first couple of weeks to make sure they know where classes are, but then they'll be able to go on their own. And that read books for class and summarizing information is key. If you're not doing that now in high school, I would suggest you do that. And you can read books on tape. You can read books that maybe are a little bit easier, and then be able to summarize that information in writing. We begin with person-centered planning. You can see one of our students up there leading his own meeting in terms of what his strengths are and what goals he's working on. So that's been a great way for students to mature and work on their presentation skills. We have academic, social, employment components, and then, as I mentioned, that independent living. And remember, we provide a certificate of integrated professional studies at the end of the 4 years. So the academics, there are 14 core courses, 2 overlay requirements. Most of our students take 3 academic courses per semester. They receive academic coaching, I mentioned, and then whatever supports are available to all St. Joe students are available to our students. You have kind of an idea of some of the courses that are there. Social students go to many Hawk events and receive training from social coaches. And then I mentioned the work-based learning, both paid. All of our jobs have been paid. So we say unpaid. I think I'm going to have to take that out. And then that capstone experience at the end. Students also receive coaching for the employment. This gives you an idea of the number of hours per week, and this is one of our strengths for coaching. We have 3 academic coaching hours, 1 for each of the academic courses you're taking, and then 10 hours of social coaching. And then you see the other in the spring, it actually increases with more employment coaching. I'm not going to go through, that's a day in the life of student. And all of this information, we have many supports available. All of this information, the independent living I mentioned, the cost, all of these slides are available at our virtual open house. So our next virtual open house will be held on Tuesday, December 9th at 6 p.m. You can register at www.sju.edu/space. And what I will do, I see my time is up. What I will do is put that in the chat. And I hope to see you. We have that's coming up on Tuesday, December 9th at 6 p.m. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Please hang in there with us. We'll have some questions towards the end. I'm a huge supporter of person-centered planning. We do a lot of path meetings and MAPS meetings within the Greenwich School District. So it's wonderful to see that even at the post-secondary level, that person-centered planning is still a huge part of your programming. Outstanding. In the interest of time, we're going to move forward. Why don't we move across town in that city of brotherly love? And why don't we move over to Villanova with the V United program? And we'll have Trish Ertwine, who is the enrollment counselor for the College of Professional Studies. And you'll be speaking regarding V United. Trish, it's all yours. You're muted.
I was trying to figure out I've never used this platform before, so I apologize. I don't know really how to share.
You're on. You're good.
Oh, okay. You say so. All right. Hi. Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's a pleasure. My name is Trish Ertwine, the enrollment counselor of the United Scholars Program. We are founded in Villanova was founded in 1842, Augustine order, Catholic institution. We're, like I said, a few minutes outside Philadelphia, about 12 miles. So it's not that far. So if you like the city and the train, it's an easy commute. I don't know why it's not going. Our mission is a 2-year residential certificate program through the College of Professional Studies. So within Villanova, we have 6 colleges. The College of Professional Studies is the newest college. We're about 10 years old. Our key elements for our guiding posts of our program is academic knowledge, campus engagement, and career development, similar to St. Joe's. At the end of our 2-year certificate residence program, students will earn a certificate of community and professional development. Here is a sample schedule for our incoming fall, freshmen for their first year. It's a little bit of a lighter load. As you can see, students start their Mondays in a little bit lighter load because they probably didn't do their homework over the weekend. So they have study hall a little bit later in the day. We also, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have almost a structured schedule for V United Scholars specific classes, and students also have a little bit of breaks in some of their schedule where they could either audit or take a 4-credit class. So the stars in some of those classes, like Intro to Computer Science, Intro to Theater, video production, students have an option to take similar classes like that, or something else, either for audit or for credit, outside of the V United Scholars specific courses. Wednesdays are your internship days. So in the first semester, students do a little bit of a few weeks of employment readiness. What does that look like? They do industry tours, trying to figure out what kind of jobs they want. And then after fall break, students get put into an internship right away, and really just figure out what kind of path that they would want to do. Also on Wednesdays, they have independent living check-ins. Parents, don't worry, your kids are going to learn how to, if they don't know already, they should, to do their wash, clean the bathroom, and tidy up their rooms. Their independent living advisors are going to be doing a check-in every Wednesday to make sure things are in order. Each semester, this schedule does change with their courses. So after the fall semester, students will be taking Independent Living 2 and entrepreneurship workshops, career prep, personal finance, leadership, first aid, fitness and health, cooking, nutrition. Most of our courses are geared towards the independent living, but they do have options to take courses that they may be interested in, that have a passion for. As I said earlier, video production is just an example, or intro to theater. If somebody's interested in history or education, we could definitely put them in touch with an advisor and create a learning contract to see what that would look like for that individual. We have career development, as I mentioned earlier, about our internships. They're very personalized, so students will receive career exploration, planning, application, coaching assistance, experience rotating internships that are really student-centered and strength-based. Internships are provided with a significant field experience on campus and off campus. So the first year, the goal is to be on campus if it's in the residence hall or dining hall, just for example, or we have a Villanova at the inn if somebody's interested in some kind of management, hospitality. And then year 2, our goal is to get students off campus in the Villanova, Radnor area. We've had some students go to Delaware, to the Blue Rock Stadium for sports management. We have some students go to, I'm drawing a blank, Fish. They went to the, they really liked fish, so they went into the, I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but they went to Philadelphia to take care of animals, like a zoo facility.
Aquarium?
Yes, aquarium. Thank you, Chris. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, but we don't just stay in the area. We want students to really explore and make connections and get mentored outside of the Villanova, Philadelphia area. We do provide transportation to and from location, and we also help students with travel. If the goal is to hopefully get to and from a job on their own. So if it's figuring out the train station, if they do have a car and they do drive, have a license, we try to work with families to bring that car to campus to get to and from the location, or using Uber, using a phone to get to their job placement. Some areas of internships that we've had: hospitality and food service, as I said earlier, media, natural sciences, public speaking, or public safety, education, sports management, performing arts. This is just a very high level. We try to do our best. If somebody says they want to be a juggler at a circus, we will do our darndest to make sure we can try to make that happen. Our goal is to make sure that somebody has a placement in something that they love and have passion, where they can succeed for a long time and love what they do. We will try to move mountains as much as possible, use our alumni network to make that happen. Student life, students are pretty much involved in all and everything on Villanova's campus. We have no restrictions. We've had a student who was a cheerleader for our cheerleading team. Another student was in band who played band during football games. We've had a few students join sororities. Again, there's no restriction for our United Scholars. We want them to be totally involved in everything Villanova. So a few other examples are service learning. We've had a few students during spring break do Habitat for Humanity, travel with traditional undergraduate students down to South Carolina. So it's everything, any club activity that Villanova has to offer, students are encouraged to apply and join activities, and try to have a good balance between school, internship, and having fun. Here's our application process. It's quite intensive, so I'm not going to go over each snapshot, but it's broken out into chunks with application requirements for a student, for parents, evaluations that we require, and also letters of recommendations from non-family members. Our tuition rate is $37,000 for 2026, just for tuition, and then housing and meals is separate. It's $20,000 estimated, depending on room rates and meal plans. We are a comprehensive transition and post-secondary program, so it allows you to apply for FAFSA to get to see if you're eligible for a Pell Grant, work study program, supplemental education opportunities. We're also PA waiver approved, and you can access OVR funding as well through our program. Lastly, I just want to note that we just piloted a summer camp last year, and it went off with a hit. So we're going to do another week of a summer camp where students can get a taste of college life to see what it's like, live in the dorms, go to the dining halls, have a set schedule like a typical college student for the week. The dates are June 21st through June 26th, and tuition cost for the camp is $2,000. It's for 18 to 22-year-olds, and very similar application requirements except for letters of recommendation. Thank you so much. Hopefully I didn't go over too much.
No, Trish, you're great. That's good. And you bring up another good point that I haven't mentioned, is that many of the programs, Be United and many others, are now eligible for federal financial aid in the FAFSA, whereas maybe 10, 12 years ago, that was not the case. So that is an outstanding point, and I'm sure a lot of the other programs, a lot of the other schools that are on this call are going to speak to the same thing, is that there is financial aid assistance and help for many of these programs where it was not that way in previous years. So we will come back to you in a few minutes if that's okay. Thank you so much. What I'd like to do now is let's take a quick flight down to the south, to Nashville. And let's have Ms. Hannah Oakley. She is representing the Next Steps program at Vanderbilt University, and she is the admissions and administrative program coordinator for that program. Hannah, are you out there?
Hello. Yes. And
Hi,
dare I say, hey, y'all. Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully it goes smooth.
You are up and running.
Okay. Oh, wait, no. Where's that? Oh, back. Wrong page. We're just skipping to tuition. Okay. As Mr. Christopher just mentioned, my name is Hannah. Oh, I don't know how to minimize this guy. Maybe close. Am I still here? Okay. I am Hannah with Next Steps at Vanderbilt. Next Steps at Vanderbilt is a 4-year inclusive higher education program located at Vanderbilt University, and we are committed to providing neurodiverse students an inclusive transformational post-secondary education in academic, social, and career development and independent living while honoring equity, compassion, and excellence in all endeavors. We currently have 28 students in our program, and this is a picture of our recent class of 2025. Now, I know some other programs have already mentioned about Think College and all the programs across the country, but here at Next Steps, we were the first program in the state of Tennessee, founded in 2010, and we are a part of the Peabody College of Education and Human Development, as well as we partner a lot with our Kennedy Center on campus as well. A few overarching facts is that we've had 84 graduates within the 15 years of Next Steps, and we have a 95% employment rate at graduation so far. So we're really happy about that. And yeah, 87% of our students are involved in Vanderbilt's organizations and clubs on campus, which I'll talk about as well. The 3 main components of our program, which I'm going to talk about, is our academics, career development, and campus life. As far as academics, we are a non-degree seeking program. So students audit Vanderbilt classes and they do 2 VU classes each semester. However, they have a catalog of over 300 courses that they can choose from and filter their interests with. In combination with those Vanderbilt classes, students take our Next Steps curriculum, and these look like in years 1 and 2, career exploration, independent living skills, communication and health skills. And then in years 3 and 4, they do what's called an experiential seminar, which they study a topic of their interest or their choice in that independent study within their area of interest. Now, one thing I think that helps Next Step stands out in all-inclusive higher ed programs is our career development portion. Within the students' first year with us, they are doing industry tours, job shadowing, job sampling to really get that holistic view of what their career development experience is going to look like. Students also participate in internships and have a new opportunity available, which is our registered apprenticeships, where students receive a credential through the U.S. Department of Labor by the time they finish. So this is a 2-year paid experience for our juniors and seniors. And our current offerings right now are early childhood education and K through 8 education, as well as public sector. But we are looking to grow this, and in the future, we will offer IT, hospitality, and healthcare economy. And really, we look to grow this even more as the years come. We received a huge grant from the Department of Labor 2 years ago that we've been working off of, and to really make a toolkit for all programs to create registered apprenticeships in their area as well. And then lastly, right, it wouldn't be college without that campus life experience. Our students from day one are involved in inclusive first-year orientation on campus. We have our peer mentors on campus called our ambassadors. That's a play on the Vanderbilt Commodores. And these are Vanderbilt undergraduate degree-seeking students that serve as tutors, lunch buddies, workout buddies with our students, and really form that circle of support for students. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, our students can be involved in any club or organization they would want to on campus. They get all the perks of a Vanderbilt student. And then lastly, I don't know how much y'all know about SEC schools down in the South, but all Vanderbilt students receive free admissions to sporting events, and I hope that continues to happen. Vanderbilt's been doing really excellent in football and basketball in the recent years, so I hope that the university still provides this as a perk. But this is something that our students definitely look forward to as well. Moving right along, additional student supports that we offer. I've already mentioned our peer mentors and our ambassadors. We also have paid support in our graduate assistants that can provide extra tutoring, extra one-on-one sessions. Our career coaches as well are graduate assistants, and they help career coach the students at their internship or apprenticeship. And then lastly, each student does one-on-one advising with staff every week as well. Okay, quickly over our eligibility for our program, similar to majority of programs here with us tonight, our candidates must have a documented intellectual disability, be between the ages of 18 and 26 by the start of the program, completed high school in some form or fashion. We accept all diploma types and pathways, have a strong desire to want to come to college and become more independent and want to learn. And then lastly, motivated to come to Vanderbilt and have an interest in Vanderbilt. I say that 4 years is a long time for our program, and we want our students to continue to be motivated and excited to be at Vanderbilt. Our application process is all done online. We require a recent psych evaluation. That's where we look for that ID diagnosis. High school transcripts and their most recent IEP or supporting documents in that capacity. A resume, a personal statement in any format. We accept video, a PowerPoint, something written, anything that the student can best express themselves and why they want to come to college. We require 2 recommendation forms, particularly one from an educator and one from a community member or an employer. And then after that application process, candidates are then invited to a virtual interview that's about 30 minutes with staff. And then the last and final step is a preview day on campus with us. We follow Vanderbilt's admissions dates and deadlines. So our early consideration has already passed, but for fall 2026, our regular consideration deadline is January 15th. And then lastly, our tuition for 25-26 year was about a little over $14,000 each semester. But there are so many financial support options available. Here in Tennessee, we are a spoiled state and we get a lot of in-state assistance. However, I have seen that Vocational Rehabilitations Fund transfer to Tennessee, or if students come to Next Steps at Vanderbilt from out of state, they can use a Tennessee address and receive Tennessee vocational rehabilitation funds. However, we do also accept outside scholarships, and Vanderbilt has a new needs-based scholarship program specifically for Next Steps students. And so we are so thankful to have that. And that kind of mimics other kind of needs-based opportunities that's available at Vanderbilt in general. So we're happy to be included in that with our financial aid office. Lastly, some tips and tricks on how to prepare for college. I know all the other programs, I'm probably mimicking what they're going to say as well, but explore your interests. Come visit us. Come down to Nashville. Take a tour of Vanderbilt. See how beautiful campus is. We are in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee, so you kind of get a downtown feel, but the campus is so beautiful as well. Visit, go to open houses, orientations with families, work on those technology skills. I think Dr. Johnson had elaborated on this a little earlier. Our students do utilize digital maps to help navigate on campus. They're using their email, a digital calendar. They're making documents and slides for projects and assignments. We also look for our candidates to work on some independent skills and time management skills because our students do follow a typical college schedule and a college calendar. They are alone some parts of the day. So we look for our candidates to be able to know how to utilize their free time. Okay. Take a picture, take a screenshot of our contact information. We're pretty easy to find on Google as well if you just Google Next Steps at Vanderbilt. And then I will give it back to everybody.
Thanks, Hannah. We really appreciate it. It sounds wonderful. And I love the fact that, your program and all of the programs here, you're making mention of the pillars of transition federal legislation, namely post-secondary education, employment career planning, and independent living. Those are the pillars of transition planning at the secondary level, and it's wonderful to hear at the post-secondary level that those things continue as far as overall independence for our students. So I really appreciate that. Okay, we're going to keep moving. Hang in there, everyone. Let's see, where do we want to go? Let's go a little bit to the east and a little bit to the north. Why don't we go to the University of Delaware? And we have two representatives. We have James Sellers and we have Weston Garton. Why don't we have, who wants to go first? Wes or James?
Well, we're actually going to present together, Chris.
Okay.
So we'll knock them out at the same time, if that's all right with you.
So welcome University of Delaware, and we're anxious to hear about both programs.
All righty. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Are you guys able to see my screen okay?
We can, yes.
All right. Well, thank you again for inviting us. My name is Wes Garton. I'm joined by Jay Sellers. We're representing two post-secondary programs for students with disabilities at the University of Delaware. Before I jump in, like you've heard tonight from our colleagues at St. Joseph's University and elsewhere, these programs, while sharing many similarities, are also for two distinct populations of students. So in the case of Spectrum Scholars, we're talking about undergraduate students matriculating that have autism. And in the case of the Career and Life Studies certificate, certificate seeking students with a diagnosis of intellectual disability. All right. Again, I'm Wes. I'm the program director of Spectrum Scholars, and Jay is the director of the Classic program. So we'll start with Spectrum Scholars, which is the program that I direct. We are a college to career initiative, and our vision is to empower autistic people in our communities on campus and in the workplace through collaboration, advocacy, research, education, and service. Our program is built utilizing a multi-tiered services of supports model. And you can think of it in terms of 1, 2, and 3. At tier 3 is our comprehensive level of support that we're providing to students. We support about 32 students currently. And students in this tier are meeting with our staff for about 4 to 5 hours a week. We do one-on-one and group-based supports. So we have weekly coaching, which is really focusing on helping students develop executive functioning skills so that they can be more successful in academics, building better organization, the social experience on campus, as well as just their own self-advocacy. That continues throughout their time at the university as part of Spectrum Scholars from year 1 to year 4 or whenever they graduate. We also have a peer mentoring component to our program. So students are paired with a other University of Delaware student. They may be autistic, they may not be neurotypical, but that's a sort of form of natural social support. So typically this is a student who's been at the university for 2 or 3 years. So they're a junior, they're an upperclassman, and they're really helping to guide the student around campus, give them a sense of like where to go to get some studying done, etc. In addition to sort of the social and academic support, we also have an emphasis on career support. So supporting our students with getting internships and other career experience throughout the duration of their time at the University of Delaware. So starting in year 1, Jay and I work with our team in having a celebrating disability mentoring week where students are paired with employers in the community and getting a day in the life of like being a computer programmer or an engineer or like whatever their career interest is, and then taking those experiences, reflecting on them as a first-year student, but then sort of building from there, right? Becoming more, developing the soft skills, developing the interview skills, the things that are necessary for successful employment. So that kind of encapsulates our sort of direct student supports, but we also have an entire tier that is designed for other students on campus who aren't receiving that kind of intensive level of support. And in this tier, it's access to things like workshops. So students across campus can come to like a time management workshop or working with, we collaborate with other offices on campuses like the counseling center, and we'll have like an opportunity for students to learn around like healthy sexuality and topics that may otherwise go untaught to some of our students. And we're just in general striving to connect our campus and community resources together so that we can make the university more accessible to students. And then lastly, we have an entire support initiative for our entire campus culture to try to become more knowledgeable and inclusive for students with disabilities. So Jay and I work together and with other offices to develop trainings to learn more about neurodiversity, to think about autism and ID from a strengths-based orientation and not so much a deficit lens. These are just some pictures that kind of give you a sense of our students. They're all around. They're hanging out in our office in beanbag chairs, playing Switch, or they're playing chess or out and about and just doing their own thing. Like you heard from pretty much everyone tonight, our students are University of Delaware students first and foremost. So the exact same opportunities to engage with the campus exist for them. And then briefly, eligibility. So first and foremost, our program in Spectrum Scholars requires the student be admitted to the university. We do have a separate online application. A student must provide a documentation of an autism spectrum condition. We do request references. And then upon that, we set up an interview. And we want to know what the student's motivations are for coming into a program like Spectrum Scholars, engage if it's a good fit. Obviously, we also like to talk to families, get an idea of like what their expectations are. And again, just make sure that there's a good fit and that the motivation is there. And then we have an agreement form if students are admitted. All right, so that's a little bit about Spectrum Scholars. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jay Sellers. I'm the director of the Center for Disability Studies. I'm sorry if I'm jumping on a little late. My computer crashed and I had to get back on. I run the Career and Life Studies Certificate, that CLSC acronym we pronounce as CLASSIC. And then next slide, please. And the Career and Life Study Certificate, we are a 2 or 4 year program for students with intellectual disabilities. Everybody who applies to our program enters into the 2-year program. And then in the second year, they can decide and apply for the 4-year program. The reason we do this is we started out as a 2-year program, and we had a lot of students who were really satisfied with that amount of time and took their classes, joined all clubs, had a great time in college, but were ready to leave and get a job at the end of the second year. But we also had just a ton of students who were pretty disappointed that they jumped from freshman to senior because they were feeling like they just got their feet under them at the university and they would like to do more and become leaders in their organizations, take more classes, get more experience in their work-based learning. So we developed that option back in 2021. Like the other programs that are inclusive higher education programs, we're a person-centered program. We do a path meeting at the beginning of their time in class so that our students can set their goals. In years 1 and 2, there's a mix of inclusive undergraduate courses and classic transition courses. But in years 3 and 4, all of the courses that our students take are undergraduate. They can take those for audit or credit. Many of our students do take their classes for credit and do quite well. They get B's and A's and everything. We have a very late date to which you can switch for audit. So there are students who start out in credit, and then if the course catches up with them, they can switch to audit and still continue to be in the class and get a lot out of the class, but it just doesn't go on their transcript. We do a lot of work-based learning, inclusive and campus living, and individualized one-on-one point coaching for 4 hours a week. Currently, there are 14 students in the program. We typically have about 20 to 25, which we'll return to next year. And we very much like the other programs work in what we call 4 domains, which is career explorations, which includes person-centered internships, both in campus and in the community. We do disability mentoring. We do a lot of job shadowing in the first year, especially in the first semester, as students are exploring what kinds of careers they want to pursue. Campus engagement. University of Delaware has over 400 clubs on campus. Our students have been involved in almost all of them, it seems like. And they also are able to compete on club sports teams and varsity teams too. If they, we haven't had one yet, but they are open for our students' participation. Our students also have joined Greek Life and have been able to join all kinds of identity-based organizations and clubs, just like anybody else on campus. We support students in their development of independent living skills, and they have an option of living inclusively on campus. We do not have any staff that live on campus. With our students, they are supported fully by the Residence Life Natural Supports of the RAs and the Residence Hall coordinators. That's been very successful. We've a lot of our students get a lot of leadership opportunities living within the residence halls, as well as they hold positions like at the University of Delaware, they're called net captains, where they do programming for their floors in their residence halls. And we actually have a student who is applying to be an RA this year. Academics, we have undergraduate classes and course modules. Our students are able to take any class at the university as long as it doesn't have a prerequisite. Our students are, we don't have mentors go into the classrooms with them. Our point coaching support is 4 hours a week of one-on-one coaching, where we help students establish their goals, make action plans to achieve their goals, but also facilitate connections to the natural resources on campus, because as we all know, all students on campus are learning how to be an adult, or learning how to live on their own, or learning how to be independent. And the university understands that. And so that's why all those supports are there. And so we really work on our students' self-advocacy skills to take advantage of the resources that are already located on campus. We also have career coaching for the students who are working in work-based learning, which will fade over time so that our students can work inclusively on campus. I think that's the next slide. These are some photos of our students in their residence halls, learning how to navigate campus, going to do presentations in Washington, D.C., do legislative advocacy, things like that. Wes, do you want to?
So this graphic is just meant to help differentiate for anyone in the call who may or may not be feeling confused about these different types of programs, but just to reiterate, Classic is a certificate for non-matriculating students with a diagnosis of ID. Students in Classic are taking about 3 to 7 credits with the option to audit. Students in Classic are getting about 4 hours a week of coaching, and there are program-specific classes. Spectrum Scholars is to the right for matriculating degree-seeking students with EST. Students are full or part-time status. There's 2 hours a week of coaching, and there are program-specific groups. But both of our programs share a similar philosophy, have a unified voice. We share the same offices, so we're always kind of running into each other, and our students are kind of naturally getting a chance to run into each other. And we're both committed to providing holistic student support.
And then the application process for Classic is that you apply directly to us. It's an online application. We do need a neuropsych or an ed psych to determine eligibility with a diagnosis of ID. You complete the online application. It gets reviewed, and then we bring you in for an interview. Those interviews are really like getting to know the students, their goals, the sports that have been effective for them in the past, and those sorts of things. It's not, a lot of gotcha things, questions and everything. The most recent IEP, 3 letters of recommendation, and a personal statement. We have rolling admissions. So, when students come in and apply and interview, we try to let our students know within a couple of weeks after that interview if they've been accepted, and they can confirm that acceptance. And that gives our students an extra amount of time to sort of get prepared for coming to campus. And we support students and families on working on skills and sort of modeling things like, helping support students with problem solving, or supporting them through probing questions and stuff so that they are active in decision making and starting to feel like they're taking on that responsibility even at home and everything. And so we also have a virtual summer bridge program to also help ramp up the students' preparation for the fall.
So if you'd like to know more information, Jay and I will obviously also put our email and contact information in the chat, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you, James and Wes. Very informative. Really appreciate it. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes. Let's move on. And folks out there, remember that this is being recorded. There's so much information that's being shared tonight that I'm sure it's overwhelming in terms of each program and distinguishing between the programs, et cetera, the similarities and differences. So it is being recorded and you'll have opportunity to review if necessary. Let's move up north. Let's go all the way up to Albany, and we're going to have Morgan Mulrow, who's the admissions counselor at the college experience at the Russell Sage College, talk about the program up there. Morgan?
Awesome. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. And also thank you, everybody. I'm It's been lovely to share space with you all tonight. So as Chris had mentioned, I am from the college experience. My name is Morgan, and I'm the admissions counselor for them. We've been around. We just celebrated our 20th year this year, so it's pretty exciting. We have over 200 graduates of our program currently, with a 97% success rate for employment with our alumni. Just throwing out some statistics to get us started, but we are a post-secondary college life skill and employment focused program really designed to teach young adults with intellectual disabilities and developmental disabilities how to live independently, maintain competitive employment while also having that opportunity to be a college student. Very similar to a lot of our other programs here today. But we are partnered with the College of Russell Sage in Albany, New York. But we're actually run through Living Resources, which is our nonprofit. So we kind of have four main pillars of our program that we focus on: academics, employment, residents, and then that social community piece. So our academics, we are hosted on Russell Sage campus. So we're taking classes in tandem with other Russell Sage students, but we're taking functional coursework with our curriculum. So we're focused more on that, like those life skills, employment readiness, independent living skills, anything under that adulting umbrella. Our classes include things like banking and budgeting, cooking, travel navigation, menu planning, grocery shopping, executive functioning support, health and wellness, personal relationships. So we're really focused on how can we problem solve in real life situations. We're a 2-year program, so we have our freshman year and our senior year. Our freshman year, we're taking classes on campus. We're having employment readiness courses where we're learning how to make our resumes up, our cover letters, meeting with job coaches, exploring what we want to do. And that kind of leads us into our employment. So we have our functional coursework that focuses on those life skills. And then we're also focusing on employment. So that first year, right, we're getting ready to start going into the field, deciding what we want to do for our internships. And in our second year, we're partnered with a personalized internship for whatever our students want to pursue. We have internships and jobs all across the gambit, across all different fields. This semester, we have a student that was really interested in music, so we were able to pair her at a record label in Albany, New York. So really trying to personalize our experience that way with our jobs. And we're working with job coaches and our employment team through Living Resources, which is really awesome because we have that nonprofit employment department to really pull from for all those internships and those connections. And then typically we have about internships about 3 days a week, and then classes 2 days a week in our senior year when we start those internships. So that's kind of more of our like functional coursework, our employment focus. And then we also have residences. So our students live off campus in our dorms. We call them dorms, but they're Albany apartments. Everybody gets their own room with shared living spaces. So living room, dining room, kitchen, laundry, all that stuff that we would need to live would be shared except for our rooms. And then all of our dorms are fully furnished, and we have staffing from the hours of around 5 to 9 every night to help problem solve with students, whether that's cooking dinners, cleaning up their space, problem solving with their housemates. Our resident staff is really there to help support our mission and our goals of independent living right in the dorms while we're learning these things in classes. So we're taking our coursework and we're implementing it directly into lives in our residences. Everybody, it's a little bit different sizing for our houses. We have anywhere from 3 to 9 students per house, but we are all clustered right together. So we have 4 houses in a row on one street, 2 on another, which really adds to that community feel. Our students are constantly going in between houses. And then we do also have a lot of security for our dorms as well. We have cameras facing outside. We have fobs for our locks. So all of our students are able to get in. But we don't, if somebody locks themselves out, all staff members can also get in with their fob as well. So we do have that security in place as well. As for our community involvement pillar, right? So we have academics, employment, we have our residences. We're also really focusing on how can we integrate into the capital region, not only within our dorms, within our college, but also in the wider area. So as Russell Sage students, we're non-credit, but we still get, our Russell Sage IDs. We're still Russell Sage students. So That will allow us to swipe on the CDTA buses and go anywhere in the capital region for free. We utilize public transportation to get to and from our dorms, to and from events, and we have a travel navigation class where we're learning all of this stuff as well, and travel certifications too. Again, adding to that safety part of our program. But that community involvement piece is really important to us. We have a community involvement class where our students are coming up with events, going to events, whether that's on campus or off campus. And we do require our students to attend events 10 out of 16 weekends of the semester. So really trying to get our students out of their comfort zones and explore things that they may like, that they haven't had that opportunity to try, or have been, but haven't had that right time. So we're really focused on how can we explore different things, build that confidence up while having that college experience and learning those life skills. And I'm going to try to keep it a little bit short. I know we're hitting close to about 5 minutes. But for our application process, we have rolling admissions. So I would be that admissions counselor that you would reach out to. All the applications come straight to me. So we would have our regular application through our college experience website. And then we would ask for similar things, supporting documents that our other presenters have mentioned, IEPs, psych evaluations, high school transcripts, letters of recommendation. And then our students would come for an overnight trial where they would stay with us for that night, shadow a current student, and get to see our program and get a feel for our program, because we're not only admitting all of our students, right? You all have to also get the chance to experience what we're like. And so we really have that reciprocal piece with our overnight trials. And then we also have interviews as well. So that's kind of how our process works. For funding wise, we are private pay. Our tuition is $47,000 a year, but that covers everything. Tuition for college, residential housing, staffing, even a $60 grocery budget to go grocery shopping every week. Everything except for that, that morning Dunkin' coffee that you want before class. So it really covers everything pretty inclusively. But I will leave it at that. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. And then I also gave Chris all of our pamphlets, our slides with more information. So we have all that for you as well. But thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Morgan. Very informative. Thank you so much. Okay, so our final presenter tonight, we're going to move across to the east a little bit, and we're going to have Ms. Sherry Solars, who is the Associate Director for Admissions at Landmark College up there in Putney, Vermont. Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Hey, Chris. I'm good. How you doing?
You're batting cleanup tonight, so it's all yours.
Right on. And I'm going to keep this short and sweet. So Landmark College, we are located up in Putney, Vermont. From the Greenwich area, it's about a 2.5-hour drive, so not far from home. Our campus is in southern Vermont, and it's quite woodsy. It's about 125 acres. There are beautiful hiking and biking trails carved into the land that surrounds our campus. We are a small 4-year college. So we are an accredited 4-year university, and we offer 2- and 4-year degrees. So students who apply to Landmark have to graduate with a standard diploma. We have about 450 students that come from 38 states around the country, and we have about 14 countries represented this year. We have very small class sizes, about a 7-to-1 faculty ratio, and the average class size is usually between 6 and 12 students. Because we are a small school, we offer 9 different bachelor's options and 6 different associate's degrees. And then within those degree programs, there is a lot of room to specialize. Like some of our majors are like biology. So there's so many different kinds of bio that a student might be interested in. Psychology, history. So there's a lot of space for students to have to specify in their interests. When we look at our statistics, the number of students who graduate with a 4-year degree, about half of them transfer in from other institutions where they haven't necessarily received the kinds of supports that they need. And after graduation, about 87% of our students are either employed or have been accepted to graduate school. More and more of our students are going to graduate school after Landmark. We have wraparound, fully integrated support services. And what that means is that the kind of supports and accommodations that you have to advocate for at a typical traditional university at their learning center are things that are all built in at Landmark. So we have our students, every single student has an academic advisor, and they meet with them at least once a week, if not more. A student who needs to meet more times can make as many appointments as they need to. We are based on universal design, which means that a student going from classroom to classroom isn't going to be experiencing something radically different from room to room. We want them to feel comfortable and at home. We want them to be able to experience learning, whether or not they're somebody who might need to pace, might need to fidget or swivel in their chair, or if they're stimming. We want them to be able to look at any side of the classroom and still see what they're learning. So we have whiteboards, smart boards set up on all sides of the classrooms. We have a study center on campus called the Drake Center for Academic Support, and it's completely staffed by faculty. If your student is having an issue in a specific subject area, no matter what it is, they can always go to the Drake Center and get help. We have subject area experts on staff at all times when the Drake Center is open, which is from morning until evening. We have executive function that's built into their academic advising sessions, but also they can make appointments for executive function coaching. And we have a program called Transition at College that can often be considered either a gap year or a postgraduate program, or if you are intending to stay at Landmark, it's your first year of college. Transition at College is an executive function heavy program where students take 3 classes, the same classes that all of our students are. They're in classes with regular other students, so they're not being separated out into classes. But where a 4th class would be for a full-time student, they're receiving a lot of executive function coaching and support, social pragmatic support. They're participating in the PEERS program, which is a nationwide social pragmatic support program where students are interacting with each other and learning about how to be more aware of their social behavior and how to also perceive others, how to interpret body language and nonverbal cues. A lot of our students use different kinds of educational technologies, adaptive technologies. If they're not familiar with them, we introduce them to the kinds of technologies that they need and we'll train them. And we will help families find free versions of the technologies that they need. We have counseling and health services on campus, whether drop-in hours or by appointment. We have a fleet of therapy dogs. So many of our faculty and staff will bring their dogs to work with them. They have to be emotional support animals. And then we have dogs that you can book you can book appointments with any day of the week. We have social supports for students with autism. And we have a couple of dorms where students can choose to live if they want to participate more directly with other students who are working on their social pragmatic skills. We have a fantastic career connections office. Students are eligible to do internships both over winter break and over summer break. And we work with corporations that want to hire neurodiverse learners. They're companies like Google and Hasbro and Disney. So not only do students have opportunities to work with these national companies and gain work experience, but often these companies will be looking to hire them after graduation. There are multiple paths to Landmark College. We have an online dual enrollment program that high school juniors and seniors can participate in for college credits. We have summer programs both for 11th and 12th graders. And we also have various college summer programs for students who maybe aren't doing so well in their own school, but they don't want to transfer out of it. We have a summer bridge program to help them come into Landmark for a few weeks in the summer, gain the academic skills that they need, and also learn who to talk to in their Office of Disability Services and how to advocate for themselves. And then they take those skills and they go back to their original school. We have a 2-year online degree program called College Start for students who aren't ready to leave home, but they want to start college and they need the kinds of supports that Landmark offers. And every single student who comes to Landmark takes a class called Perspectives in Learning. It's our signature course. It is designed to help students learn how they learn and how to best express what they learn. And it goes beyond the I'm an auditory learner, I'm a visual learner. If students, we don't require neuropsychs, but we encourage them if students have had them. And students will read their neuropsychs over the course of this class and come to understand what all of those different numbers mean. Where do they have strengths? Where do they have things that they need to work on a little bit more? And then how do they best express what they learn, building on those strengths? We have clubs and we have intramural sports. We have a very vibrant social life on campus. You know, Putney is a small town. So we have free shuttles that leave campus every day that will go to bigger towns like Brattleboro, Vermont, and Keene, New Hampshire. Students who need to get to doctor's appointments or pick up prescriptions, they can do that just by jumping on the shuttle. And on the weekends, we have planned activities in Springfield, Massachusetts, or in Boston. They'll go further afield so that they don't feel like they're just stuck on the little Landmark island. Although there's so much going on the Landmark campus, a lot of times students really do want to stick closer to home. And when the snow starts, we have ski shuttles every weekend, free ski shuttles that go to the various islands around us. One more thing that I want to add, on top of, we also have rolling admissions, and we'll be accepting applications oftentimes even up through the summer. But one of the more important aspects of it is that we do have all of our families fill out the FAFSA, so we're able to distribute federal loans and grants, but most of our financial aid comes through institutional grants, meaning that you don't have to pay them back. And because of our particular status, families who itemize their taxes often can get a medical tax. They can deduct Landmark's tuition as a medical tax deduction. Not the entire thing, but we have a tax professional who can work with your tax professional to help figure out what portion can be deducted. And that is really helpful when you're looking at a private school tuition. And so Chris has all of our information. I'm going to go ahead and cut it short right here. But thanks everybody who stuck around, and we would love to see you up on Landmark's campus.
Thanks, Sherry. Really appreciate it. So, folks, we have almost run out of time. I'm going to open it up to questions. Does anyone from the audience have a question before we sign off for the evening?
Yes, I had a question for Sherry, actually.
Okay, Sherry.
Coming back. Hi, Yesela.
Hi, I'm also Giselle's daughter. So my brother is actually a junior. We were just wondering, because I know the other ones had the requirement was either a diagnosis of autism or intellectual disability. Is there a specific diagnosis for Landmark College? I might have missed it.
No, I think I probably just forgot to say it. So we accept students with language-based learning differences, ADHD, and high-functioning students on the spectrum, so ASD1. It's really, really helpful if they have an official diagnosis, but if they don't, we have a workaround, and we do a lot of research with families to help determine if they don't have an official diagnosis, what the best approach is.
Oh, perfect. Yes, because he actually doesn't have a specific diagnosis, so that's great. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Any other questions out there? I have one or two quick questions before we close for the evening. And if we can make these answers brief, I'd really appreciate it. What's the one most unique thing about your program? What is the most unique characteristic of your program that you'd like to tell everyone? Weston, how about you? Would you like to start?
Put me on the spot. I think it's that we're really, we work really closely with Jay, so we're kind of a unified voice. Like I said, the program for students with autism and intellectual disability, we're working collaboratively, and I think it helps both us, our programs, and our students, but it helps our campus as well.
Okay. Trish?
I would say since we're a Catholic institution, our faith-based courses and just being a close-knit community, I feel like that makes you feel like you're at home, even though you're away from your parents. I think that's what makes it really special. I love going to work every single day, seeing our students and faculty and staff, and I think our students do too.
Okay. Dr. Johnson?
Ours is an inclusive Jesuit education. And one of the keys really is the immersion in the college experience. We have found over time that our students, when they're with their peers, their behavior changes in a positive way, in a very independent way. And we think all the experiences, the academic, the social, and the employment experiences really enhance that college experience.
Okay. Morgan?
Hi. So I would say one of the more unique parts of our program is that we're not only partnered with Russell Sage College, but we're also run through that nonprofit Living Resources. So we have a lot of continuations of supports after graduation, our College Life program, our Career Next program. So we're not just gonna, after you graduate, say, okay, you're good, you're independent, you're on your own. We kind of scaffold our approach.
Sherry?
Landmark College was the very first university in the country that was established exclusively for students with learning differences. And to me, in my experience as an educator, what makes Landmark unique is that every single person I have encountered there is extremely kind. It's a safe, inclusive, and very warm place to work and to live and to go to school.
Thanks, Sherry. Hannah?
I would say that Next Steps at Vanderbilt is so far the only inclusive higher education program located at a top 20 institution, first and foremost. So we're very thankful to lead that charge, and hopefully the other institutions get on board as well. But then secondly, I would just say the registered apprenticeship opportunity that I spoke about is newer. And I think that's a great opportunity for the future of inclusive higher ed programs in general. And we're glad to be leading the charge for that opportunity for students.
Okay. And Mr. Sellers, was there something you'd like to add?
I would just like to say the University of Delaware upper administration is super supportive of our students and our programs. We are able to sort of throw our students in the deep end as far as supports go, just those 4 hours, and not have mentors traveling the campus with them, because our administration has been really supportive of recognizing that they have the supports necessary, because they're helping everybody on campus become adults and everything. And so I think we're kind of unique in that way. And also tax-free shopping.
Tax-free shopping in Delaware. One more question for me, and again, a quick hitter, so we can very briefly. What is the one thing, the most important thing, the priority that a current student at Greenwich High School or any high school should be working on to prepare for your program? Why don't we start? Let me think here. Let's go. Hannah, how about you?
Oh no, I was hoping you wouldn't say me. As I'm thinking of all the things, I think I would say the technology portion. We allow students to use adaptive technology, assistive technology, AI to benefit them as well, but utilizing what technologies can help you academically, whether it's speech to text, text to speech, all the great things, but we really promote the use of technology at Next Steps.
Okay. Morgan?
Yeah, I would say get a head start by practicing your daily living skills and your routines. Try to cook a new meal, try to get yourself up in the morning on your own, and just try to get those implemented before you start with us here.
Okay. Thank you. Sherry?
I think to have a desire to learn is the most important thing to come to Landmark with. And I'm going to add, I'm going to have to jump off this call right now. I frequently come to Connecticut. I would be more than happy to meet with anybody in person. We can arrange that through Chris. I could come to the school. I really look forward to connecting with anybody in person, online, on the phone who's interested in Landmark. And I appreciate your time in having me.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank
James?
you so much, Chris.
James Sellers?
I would say supporting students in problem solving and asking probing questions and having them think through solutions, and also just practicing the dignity of risk and allowing students to fail every once in a while and learn from those failures and mistakes, just like we all do. I think that, it doesn't help to, it just only helps for students to be able to embrace and overcome challenges.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
I would say challenge, to piggyback on what James said, I would say challenge yourselves. And if there are inclusive classrooms, there's a history class, if there's an English class, there's a science or math class that you can be in, go in that class, work with your special education teacher and ask for maybe modified or accommodated assignments, but challenge yourself. We're seeing that we're teaching a lot of skills that we think many of the high schools could help with. So I would do that. Real quick comment to both students and parents. Know your strengths and know your needs. I always get excited in these panels. There are so many great programs out there. What you're trying to do is you're trying to find a match between the program and you that is just a perfect fit. And so keep searching, but also know who you are and what you need.
Thank you. Weston?
Dr. Johnson just stole mine, but I would think the most important thing, no, that's okay. It was good advice. I think just again, for students to develop in their own unique way, what to articulate, not only what their needs are, but what their strengths are, right? Because that's important as well. And having that, that independence and building towards it, knowing that it's a process, but yeah, having their own voice and being able to articulate it.
Okay. I think Trish, I'm not sure if Trish is still with us. She may have left. So if there aren't any other questions out there from the audience, we've run a little bit over tonight, and I really want to thank our panel for hanging in there. We've had, we had 8 speakers from 6 different schools, super informative, and I think you all made outstanding points with your programs. This panel tonight is, purely an opportunity for folks to gather information about the different types of programs, the different types of opportunities that are out there across our country. As I said, these types of programs are growing as we speak. It is so wonderful to see 8 different programs on this panel tonight. I know it was a lot of information, but we did record this evening. So, folks can take a look and look at the recording for further information. I'm available at Greenwich High School. Chris Laverme, I'm the transition counselor. I'm available. I certainly, can reach out to these folks if you need more information. My advice is continue to search for those programs, for that perfect fit, as Dr. Johnson said. Visit campuses while students are in session. Very important. And just do things at home to help your son or daughter become as independent as they possibly can be, so that they can access these programs. These are outstanding programs, every single one of them, but it'll be important for your son or daughter to have the skills needed to access those programs and then ultimately to access their community. So I want to thank everyone. I also want to thank Mr. Ralph Mayo, the principal of Greenwich High School. He was on the call tonight for the entire call. Thank you, Mr. Mayo, for being there. And again, I just want to thank everyone from the south of Vanderbilt all the way up north to Vermont and everywhere in between. Folks, thank you so much and have a wonderful holiday season. And I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Take
Thank you
care,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you
Bye-bye
so
now.
much, all.
Okay.